Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Rotoballer Radio Waiver Wire Series. Today we bring to you the Waiver Wire for Week 4 of your fantasy football season at the quarterback position. No major injuries to worry about today, so maybe we're just looking for streaming options as we deal with Trey Lance, potentially as we deal with Dak Prescott as well. Full disclosure, recording Sunday night before the Sunday night game, so obviously a few things can change. We use Yahoo roster percentages, try to keep it at or around 50% rostership. Jimmy Garoppolo is there right about over 50%, so I did not include him on my list today. So where we start at number 5, time to pay attention to Jacoby Brissett if you're desperate, of the Cleveland Browns. Only 4% rostered and 3 straight games that have been productive. Okay, in 6-point per touchdown formats, that's what we'll use here today as our sounding point. 12.9, 17.5, and then Thursday night's performance, 21.9 fantasy points. Threw the ball 31 times, 21 completions, 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Ran it 3 times for 11 yards. He's got a solid wide receiver 1 in Amari Cooper, who continues to perform well even with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback. Jacoby Brissett is making Cooper look good. Cooper is making Brissett look good. And Jacoby Brissett has a nice matchup next week against the Atlanta Falcons defense. At number 4, Jared Goff of the Detroit Lions remains in the mix as a waiver wire add, 45% rostered. He went 25 of 41 in week 3, 277 yards, a touchdown and an interception. He has 15 or more fantasy points in all 3 games he's played this year, 15.88 to be exact in week 3. Faces Seattle next week. Detroit puts up a ton of points. Jamal Williams just, stole touchdowns from Goff, from Amon-Ra St. Brown, and DeAndre Swift in week 3. So Jared Goff has been consistent, arguably more consistent than the top quarterbacks on my list today. At number 3, Ryan Tannehill of Tennessee rebounds splendidly from a miserable week 2 where Malik Willis entered the game. Tannehill only 16% rostered. Now, he goes up against the Indianapolis Colts in week 4, who kind of handled Patrick Mahomes as well as anybody could. But Ryan Tannehill went 19 of 27. He found Robert Woods. Burks was involved. Derrick Henry was catching the ball out of the backfield. It all went well for Tannehill in week 3. 264 yards, a touchdown and an interception. Ran a touchdown in, which shouldn't be a surprise. Tannehill has had success running the ball near the goal line before. Finished with 20.76 fantasy points. He's now got 2 very good games, 2 games of 20 or more fantasy points this season. The third game, which was miserable, was against that Buffalo Bills defense that completely shut down Tennessee. Tannehill only 16% rostered. At number 2, Jameis Winston, doing what Jameis Winston does. Okay, he's thrown some picks, he's playing in pain, he's got the back fractures. But by the end of the day, there's another 350-yard performance for Jameis Winston. 25 of 41, 353, touchdown, 2 picks, 21.6 fantasy points. He's only 42% rostered. Like Tannehill, 2 games this season with over 20 fantasy points, Atlanta and Carolina. 5 touchdowns, 5 interceptions on the season. He's got to fix that. Now, keep in mind, Mike Thomas, Jarvis Landry did get banged up. Chris Olave went nuts, though. Alvin Kamara was back on the field healthy. Jameis Winston in week 4 faces the Minnesota Vikings. And then number 1, Matt Ryan of the Indianapolis Colts, okay, with Michael Pittman back, looks much better than he did in week 2. He's now got 2 games of essentially 20 fantasy points. Week 1 and this week, week 3, where he went for 19.28. 27 to 37, 222 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and faces Tennessee Titans in week 4. So to recap, 5 quarterbacks to consider if you need them for week 4 of your fantasy football season: Jacoby Brissett, Jared Goff, Ryan Tannehill, Jameis Winston, and Matt Ryan. All right, everybody, if you're looking for more great waiver wire content, stay right here on Rotoballer's YouTube channel. Head over to rotoballer.com. Sign up now for our premium pass using the promo code ACES. Save yourself 10% of discount for all sorts of great content, including our team sync tool and lineup optimizer. Follow me on Twitter at @Aniano Fantasy, and good luck in week 4, everybody. Have a good one from Rotoballer Radio.